Hey, what's up, Speakerphiles? Wellington here, and with me is the Sony SRS XB43. I'm mainly going to be comparing it to the SRS XB41, but when it comes to the sound sample, I will also be throwing in the SRS XB40. I made a video comparing the SRS XB41 to the SRS XB40, so if you're wondering about how the two compare, go watch that. But for this video, we're mainly comparing the latest model to the previous model. If you're wondering what the XB42 is, it does not exist because, you know, that's what makes sense. You go from 41 to 43. Everybody knows that. Okay, so let's talk about the design first, because it looks like Sony went all out on this one. The general shape of the speaker is kind of the same as the SRS XB41, but different in a few ways. Sony has always had passive radiators on their speakers, but they are like on this one, they are in the center and hidden away. But as we can see now, the SRS XB43 now has side passive radiators, and they are not hidden anymore, they are exposed. They might not be as exposed as those that you find on a JBL speaker, but they are indeed exposed. The speaker is now designed to be used either vertical or horizontally. The base is made in a way that kind of allows for airflow if the speaker is sitting down on this table or a flat surface. The new speaker weighs about twice as much as the weight of the old guy, and as you can see too, the size is quite a bit different between these two speakers. So Sony is not shying away from increasing the size. The thing is really big. Behind the weather seal here is where you will find a USB-C charging port, which reminds me that I actually haven't told you what comes with the speaker in the box. So in addition to the speaker itself, you will get the paperwork stuff as well as a USB-C charging brick. So it's not detachable, it's an AC adapter with a USB-C output on it, because the speaker now uses USB Type-C. Now, it does not mean that you cannot use your regular charger, like what you use with your phone. It would work with that, but depending on what kind of charger that you're using to charge it, it might take a little bit longer to fully charge in comparison to using the actual AC adapter that you get with the speaker. But I'm thankful that they actually moved away from the proprietary chargers that they usually would ship with these speakers and give you a universal USB-C. You don't have to worry about bringing a special charger for your speaker if you're taking it somewhere. So kudos to Sony. This is squeaking a bit, and I'm sorry if you're hearing it in the video. I think I need a new seat. Going back to what's behind the weather seal, in addition to a USB-C charging port, you have an audio in and a USB-A port to charge your phone. You also have the stereo pairing, party connect, battery and light control buttons back here. And before you type down and ask if the new speakers can connect to the older speakers, the answer is no. Sony is moving away from the wireless party chain or whatever they called it. That's on the older speakers. They are moving away from that to what they are calling Party Connect. It's supposed to be better than the older version. I haven't noticed a big difference as of yet, but it's not backward compatible. The new speakers can connect and play with the newer speakers. That's the XB23, the XB33, and the XB43 can connect and play together, but they cannot connect with the older speakers. So there's a cut right there. No more support for the old guys. On top is where you will find the power, Bluetooth, and all the media control buttons, as well as the live sound mode and the stamina mode buttons. For those who don't know Sony's products, live sound mode is basically a sound effect that emphasizes on the stereo image. It gives you an immersive kind of sound. It's not perfect, but on this speaker, the SRS XB43 is significantly better in comparison to the older guys. And then the stamina mode is newly introduced on these smaller speakers. We saw it first on the SRS XB60, the GTK XB60 and the XB90. And what it does is basically cut down on the power consumption of the speakers to give you a longer battery life. So if you're in need and you want your speaker to last as long as you can, turn it on. You won't be getting the best sound out of the speaker, and I wouldn't really recommend using it unless you really need that battery to last as long as you can, because it really does degrade the sound quality quite a bit. You lose a lot of bass out of your speaker, but that's what those two are. You're welcome. Internally, the SRS XB43 is running Bluetooth 5.0, which is better in comparison to the 4.2 that the SRS XB41 was running. And again, internally, the speaker now has two square main drivers in there and two tweeters. Finally, we do have tweeters on the SRS XB line of speakers. I'm really thankful that Sony finally did that. I'm hoping for a very different kind of sound coming out of this guy, because with no tweeters on the previous models, they've been suffering quite a bit, but this is very promising. Do not disappoint me. We still have IP67 rating, which means it's completely waterproof, dustproof, and Sony adds rustproof and shockproof to their claim. The battery on the SRS XB43 can last you up to 24 hours of playtime if you're playing the speaker at about half the volume with stamina mode on and the lights off. However, if you play at half the volume and you are using extra bass on and the lights on, you are looking at about 14 hours of playtime. If you crank the volume up to maximum, you will be looking at about 4 hours of playtime if you have extra bass on and the lights on. And I know a lot of you will be happy to hear that Sony does not cut down the volume of your speaker anymore like they used to do when your speaker got to about 30% battery left on there. Yes, thank you Sony, and welcome to the club. But at about 30% battery left on there, the battery lady came on and started asking me to charge the speaker. Please charge. She did not cut down the volume of the speaker, which I appreciated a lot. The speaker played at maximum volume until it died. It just died. The XB43 is also compatible with the Sony Music Center app, and you can use it to control the sound effects, you can control the lights, you also have a 3-band EQ in there, and there's a lot of stuff that you can do in that app, but I don't really want to sit here and tell you how to use the app. It's really easy to use, and most stuff in there is kind of silly and easy to figure out. So it works with the app, and there's a lot of other features in that app. So if you get a speaker, go check it out. I want to move on to the sound comparisons. So if there's anything I'm missing that you still wish I was talking about, or you want to ask about, you want to know about, leave it in the comment section down there. But for right now, let's go into sound comparison. And like I said, I'm going to be playing the XB41 versus the SRS XB43. And I will be dropping in the SRS XB40 over here for those people who still have the SRS XB40, just so you can know how it compares to the new guy. As usual, I will be using a high quality binaural microphone, so for the best experience, please make sure you are using headphones. You'll be getting the sound sample first and then followed by a low frequency response test. With that said, let's hear the speakers speak. And there you have it. Let me know what you think in the comment section down there. Also, head over to Instagram and follow me over there. I share snippets of what I'm working on quite a bit over on Instagram, and I do plan on doing an Instagram giveaway very soon. So if you don't want to miss that, head over to Instagram and follow me over there. I'm also on Twitter and Facebook, okay? I also have a merch store. If you feel like supporting the channel, head over there and check it out. I'll have all the links in the description section down there. And thank you. I played all songs in extra bass mode because with the new SRS XB43, you only have extra bass on or live sound or stamina mode. You don't have the standard mode like they used to have on the older speakers. So anyways, I was expecting the SRS XB43 to be quite a bit louder than these other guys, but as you heard, the difference as far as the loudness is not really that much. Like, I mean, if you look at the size difference between the two speakers, I was expecting the SRS XB43 to just be a lot louder, but that's not the case. In some songs, you might hear the SRS XB43 sounding only edge louder than any of the other two that we're comparing it to, but I think that's just mainly because it has tweeters and it has slightly sharper highs than what you hear on the other speakers. But overall, I think they are about the same when it comes to loudness, and that is about where all the similarities end. As expected, due to the presence of tweeters on the SRS XB43, the highs are significantly better on the 43 in comparison to the SRS XB41. The same goes for the mids, most especially the upper mids. They are more pronounced and the speaker doesn't sound like it's covered up anymore like the SRS XB41 used to sound. I'm not sure if it's because of the placement of the passive radiators or that the drivers that they now have in the SRS XB43 are just better, or just that the SRS XB43 now has more room in there to play with bass and give you something better. Either way, no matter what it is, the SRS XB43 has slightly better bass than what you're getting on the SRS XB41. In the end, I think the SRS XB43 sound is headed in the right direction. It's amazing what just adding those tweeters can do to the sound of a speaker. I feel like that's the main thing that was missing on the older speakers. So I literally cannot wait to compare it to other speakers out there that a lot of you are requesting. And if you have one that you also want me to compare that speaker to, leave it in the comment section down there. And when you do that, don't forget to subscribe, because that's the only way you will know when I upload your requested video, okay? For those of you trying to figure out if you should buy the SRS XB43 or the SRS XB41, go with the 43, okay? The improvements are better. They are there. So the only other reason to consider here is price and maybe the size. Otherwise, if size and price are not an issue with you, just take the SRS XB43. If you find this to be really cheap, I guess you can, but I don't like the sound of the SRS XB41 very much, so I would always just say just take the SRS XB43. And if you're someone out there who owns the XB40 or the SRS XB41 right here, and you think you're due for an upgrade and you're wondering if it's worth it, I think it is. It's like they skipped the SRS XB42 just so they can keep the little improvements they would have done to that and put everything into the SRS XB43, because that's about how much stuff that I feel like, or even just the sound, has improved between the XB41 and the SRS XB43 right now. The other reason to not get the SRS XB43 is the design. If you don't like it, like, I personally really don't. And it's not because they have passive radiators on here like some other company out there. Like, that's not what's bothering me. It's just the overall design of the speaker. I'm not into it. I'm not into it. I thought I would like it later after I, like when I have it in my hands, like just from seeing pictures and getting something in your hand sometimes, like, oh, it actually looks better. But this has not grown on me. It's still, I feel like it doesn't look that good. And I know I'm talking about looks here, and beauty is in the hands of the beholder, so maybe it might look beautiful to you, and that's fine. I'm not gonna judge you, but I personally, I feel like it looks cheap and plasticky. Like, it doesn't have a premium feel. It doesn't have a premium look like I would expect from a company like Sony. For some reason, I'm not into it. The SRS XB43, out of the new speakers that they have released, is my favorite speaker. I think it looks cool. That's my favorite of all the speakers that I feel like Sony has ever made. Like, that's how big I'm into it. But these other ones, I feel like they just look cheap and not, I don't know. I'm not into it at all. Anyways, I think that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, leave it a like. If you're new here and you liked it, how about you consider subscribing? Come on, you can do it. I'm joining the awesome community over here at DLX Wellington YouTube channel. Anyways, if you like the video, please leave it a like. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike. I just want to get some sort of feedback from you. And if you feel like it, leave a comment down there why you didn't like the video or why you liked it. I just want to get some sort of feedback from you because you watched the video, okay? Again, if you liked it and you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. Head over to Instagram and follow me over there, okay? Go do that. Follow me on the socials. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. That's like the default recommended Sony's settings that I used. So I put everything in standard mode. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. I should go to bed.